Hello again, everybody. Episode 223, Two Old Bucks. This being Old Buck Dave, as usual, and with me, as usual, is
and able and proud to be Old Buck Dale
Old
with
Buck
you.
Dale, the new and improved Old Buck Dale.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
In so many ways.
I'm traveling light today, my brother.
Traveling light.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you're looking good. You look marvelous as usual.
As usual,
Yeah.
That's how people can recognize me.
Okay. I'm coming to you, of course, from beautiful Black Mountain, North Carolina, where we're hiding out for a while to escape the Florida heat. And so
what is the temperature up there?
let me see. I'll tell you what the temperature is in a second here. Let me check. It is 67.
No kidding.
Nice.
93.
Ooh.
In fact, I occasionally if I have a pen that doesn't write, I just set it on the balcony for a few minutes.
That'll thaw it out.
And that loosens up the ink real fast.
Loosen it up. If only that would work on us.
Hey, on that note, I got to tell you, Dave, that I truly believe that the heat is affecting my brain. I really think that's
how could we tell?
Well, it has a lot of effect on a lot of things, and one of the things that I'm blaming the heat on was the fact that I lost my phone. And I don't believe
it's the heat's fault.
I don't believe it's the heat's fault, because I do not believe that would happen to me if I was just merely old. So let me
All right, you going to explain this?
Yeah, I'm going to tell you how this worked out. I'm going to tell you how this works out. So I do not remember putting the phone in my pocket or picking it up at all. I don't remember picking it up at all. But I was doing my normal chores. I was taking a few things out to the trash and, the recycle and that kind of thing. And I said, I'm going to go see a neighbor guy that I stop in. He's a older fellow. I shouldn't say he's older. He's the same age as us, but I go over and see.
You know what? He's old.
Yeah. So I go over and see him because his wife has passed away a long time ago, so he's been a bachelor for a while. So I go over and visit with him, have coffee. So we're chatting about all manner of things, and he tells me that he has a problem with his one of the closet doors, or one of the doors on the sink, that doesn't close. Close.
Okay.
So I said, well, let me take a look at that.
Pretty straightforward.
I opened the drawer up. It is loaded heavily with pots and pans. Heavy. So I'm thinking, watch me be clever and unload these pots and pans, and it'll work nicely. So I do that, but it's still really rough. I mean, it's pulling out hard. It's not closing the way it should. So, and this particular one was a middle drawer. So I said, let me take a look at this. I pull it all the way out and I lay down on the floor. So I'm literally underneath it. So I'm looking at it. I'm looking at this drawer. I can see a couple of clips on the side. I said, this thing will come out. So in the meantime, my friend is saying, wow. He said, Dell, he said, I can't do that. I can't lay on the floor. He said I wouldn't be able to get up. I unclip it, lift the drawer off of the rails, and the rails are coming off of, what is it?
On the sides of the cabinet.
Cabinet, the word cabinet.
Yeah.
See, it's the heat.
You're not old. That's the heat.
It's the heat.
So, all right. I'm still waiting to hear about the phone.
Okay. So anyhow, I did that. I said, let me fix that for you. I got my tools and light and everything, and put it all back together. Worked like a champ. I'm on my way back to the house when I stop for another buddy this is the old man who's on dialysis. I sometimes mention him.
Yes.
And so I always stop and say hello to him in the morning, see how he's doing. And today he didn't have dialysis, but he had to go to the blood doctor. So I'm in there, I'm chatting to him, and I leave, come home. I cannot find my phone. Cannot find my phone.
Cannot find your phone.
And now I start tracing. The funny part is yet to come. Now I start tracing my steps. I'm within walking distance of the house, but I don't remember actually taking the phone. Go through the house very carefully to all the usual places. Cannot find it. I walk around the same procedure. In the meantime, my friend left to go back to the doctor's, and the other friend that I fixed the drawers for, he left. So now I can't.
You can't go
right,
back to
I
their
can't go
places.
back and check.
Yeah.
So I go to a neighbor, borrow his phone, come back to my house, and go to every room.
Call yourself.
And call myself. Nothing.
Okay.
So I go, this is now, I'm not quite panicking. So this is now I go to, back to the guy's drawer. I go back to his house and I find him home, check his house. We call my phone in there. Can't find it. Now the other house, I still can't do. In the meantime, I go to my neighbors and call my wife at work and ask her if she inadvertently picked up my phone.
Covering all bases.
Now, that already is a problem right there, because she's saying, what, I don't have your phone. What's the problem? How are you? What's happening? In the meantime, I've involved two neighbors, two sets of phones, and set a bunch of things in motion that realized my life is over.
If you don't have a phone,
you don't have
that's
a phone.
sad commentary. You know that.
That is sad commentary.
It's like you were a teenager.
So I'm said, I don't believe I left the house with it. What could I have done with it? It has to be here someplace. So finally, the guy with the dialysis comes back home, and I make my way over to his house. And of course, there's the phone.
There it is.
I walked in the house, greeted him, and set the phone on the table. So the panic that was involved in that, and the number of people that I got involved.
Now you knew this had to be like in a 50-foot radius of your house, right? Maybe 100-foot.
It doesn't
and you panic.
I'm panicking because I thought maybe
because your whole life is on that phone.
Right, whole life is on the phone. But what really made me sad and angry is that I don't remember even walking out of the house with it, let alone setting it down.
And that's because of the heat.
That's because of the heat. I'm convinced it's the heat, because the top of my head is pretty bare. So that heat just seeps through the skull, right into the brain, and whatever memory that the top of that brain controls, gone. So that was my trauma for the day. I mean, I was a bit distraught over this whole thing, thinking about the ramifications. Well, but it all ended well.
I'm glad we got past that. My God.
Yeah. So, but let me leave you on a quick lighter note. I went to.
Don't leave.
No, I'm gonna give you. I'm not gonna leave.
Okay.
A very good friend of mine recommended a dentist. It was called Pearl Dentistry, in case anybody in Sarasota is tuning in.
This is the ongoing saga,
yes,
right?
an ongoing saga. I'm paranoid of dentists.
Okay.
I'm afraid of them. I fear them. I dread them. I put that off to the last minute. I mean, the teeth have got to be in bad condition, or I got to be miserable to go to a dentist. But I go to the dentist, and damn if he doesn't do a nice job. He gets me all fixed up, grinds the teeth down without any pain. But what impressed me was the professionalism of the girl who makes the temporary crown.
Uh-huh.
Absolutely fantastic skill level.
Yeah.
So much.
They are sharp. Yeah, the ones in my dentist are really good. One girl in particular.
I was totally amazed. I said, if I was smarter, I would have learned to do that when I was young, because I love to do work. I'm always tearing watches apart and stuff.
Yeah, that's right up your alley, buddy.
So she built me these crowns. She did it with skill and grace. And I recommend a dentist to anybody, but he only spent, he came in and blessed the teeth when she finished them, but he only spent a few minutes. I mean, he shapes them up in a matter of minutes with that side grinder he has.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he says, there you go. So,
yeah. And then he said, this will pay for my trip to California next week.
Say, my boy's got to go to school. So,
yeah.
So all in all, I'll leave my storytelling to you on a high note that I did manage to cope with the dentist, and I'm sure I'll have some another crown, which will almost be all of them, you know. So 26 teeth times $2,000 is it's like, and that's the way that ended. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So tell me where you were at. Tell me what you're up to.
Well, what am I up to? I'm up to hanging out with you. A couple comments from we got a couple comments on your AI rant from the last episode.
Oh, really?
Well, I think I sent you one of them.
One of them.
One of them.
You
Yeah.
always protect me from the other ones. Anyhow.
I do. Yeah. No, I mean it was like, yeah, it's we still have control of it. I think everything's going to be okay. I don't think everything's going to be okay, but to what extent it's not okay remains to be seen, I guess. So, and interestingly, two listeners, not one but two, felt the need to tell us that the last episode put them to sleep.
Oh, we've reached
So the
Melanoma
string
Brothers
continues.
again.
Yes, we have. Unfortunately,
Melatonin Brothers, geez.
yeah. So let's see. Well, I don't know. At this point, we'll do what we can to be a public service out there. Yeah. Hey, I'm going to talk about London, but before that, I want to mention a couple other things from the cruise. A couple people we met that we really enjoyed being with that I didn't get a chance to mention last week because my notes were all in a shambles and I didn't know what I was doing half the time. Anyway, I want to give a big shout out to Ruwen, Rewen, from Los Angeles, and before that from Taiwan. She was really sweet. We spent a fair amount of time with her. She and my wife swapped immigrant stories, kind of bonded there. So that was really, really nice, really nice. And then we met a really cute couple at dinner one night and ran into him a couple more times. His name is Earl Buchanan from South Carolina, and his wife Linda is from Maine. Okay, now I'm going to try to do a Southern accent here. I don't know how well it's going to come off, but he said, my name is Earl Buchanan from South Carolina. He says, now up north, my name is Buchanan. But if you got this name down south, your name is Buckhannon, okay? He said, guess what my nickname is? My nickname is Buck. He says, my daddy's nickname was Buck. My granddaddy's nickname was Buck. He said, if you're Buchanan, your nickname is Buck. It was just...
I can picture that clearly.
He was just hilarious, and his wife was just a little sweetie. They were so much fun to chat with. They were like upper 80s, I guess. And also, I want to mention Francis and Harriet. That's his mother and daughter from England. We had a good time with them, a couple meals with them, and they were just a hoot, just a lot of fun to be with. Harriet gave us a list of the top things to do in London as a little service to us, and it was really, really, really a great list. And I'll talk about that when I get on to London. Somebody else I want to mention is the magician. We had a great magician. His name is Joshua J. If you get a chance to see the guy, he's really spectacular. Terrific tricks. Yeah. His mom was with them. We chatted with them a few minutes in the hallway one day. Really terrific. The funny thing is, my wife sent an email or a text to her neighbor, back in Florida, and said, we just saw this terrific musician. His name is Joshua J. And she texts back, Joshua J., I rented a house for his mother in Akron, Ohio, somewhere. She said, when he was 7 years old, he would do magic tricks for me. What are the odds? That's just amazing. I'll put a couple links to Joshua's, a couple of the acts that he's done. He's really, really, really good. Nothing else I could say about that. But getting back to the end of the cruise and London, we disembarked early in the morning, like, I don't know, 7:30 in Southampton. Took a taxi to the train station. And I had bought tickets in advance. Turns out, now, I was thinking, well, the ship might get in late, blah, blah, blah. So we swapped the tickets for 8:30 tickets. And the ticket agent, this is the first person we had to deal with in in England. And he was just terrific. He knew what he was doing for sure. He really knew his stuff. He was patient with me. He was humorous. He was really pleasant. And this was something that we found out was repeated again and again in London. There's so many people that I don't know if they were taking pity on us or what, but we had so many nice people helped us out along the way. So anyway, so we got off the train at Waterloo Station in London. Again, I'm going to ask a policeman at the station to how do I get to the subway to Victoria Station. So I got to go from Waterloo to Victoria because our hotel is a block or two from Victoria Station. Okay, but he's talking to somebody on the phone. So I stopped and then I turned back and kept walking. I got about 10 steps. He caught up with me. He hung up the conversation and he says, "Can I help you?"
Oh.
He says, "Can I help you?" So he gave me directions to the proper line. There's several lines that go through there. That's one of the major stations. When we got to the turnstile, I had by that time I had forgotten which line it was. Okay, because same reason that you lost your phone, I guess. It was the heat.
The heat.
Yeah. So I asked another policeman, and I said, you go through here. I said, now what about the tickets? Do I have to buy a bunch of tickets? He said, no, just tap your credit card on the turnstile.
Oh my soul!
Could it be any easier? I said, really? He said, yeah, really. And that's what people are doing. They're just tapping their phone, and then the second time you tap your phone is when you get out at the station that you've arrived at, and that's when you get charged. It's just amazing.
That's way too simple.
Oh man. So we had a switch subway switch tubes at Westminster Station. We got to Victoria, and the Victoria. London is not a grid. It's not a grid of streets. It's every street twists and turns and intersects different. It's really a spaghetti bowl. We asked the bus ticket guy we told him our hotel. It's on Buckingham Palace Road. And I said, which one of these roads? He says, oh, this is it. You're on Buckingham Palace Road. You're right. And now he says, I'll show you where it is. And he walks us down the street till it gets around the bend. And he says, now there, see that building sticking out? That's your hotel. He didn't have to do any of that. I mean,
everybody went the extra mile for you.
Everybody's been so great. But we got in there and we're both feeling kind of woozy, and we figured it's travel stress, blah blah blah. But the next day we really didn't feel any better. So I Googled dizzy after a sea cruise, and guess what? It is a real thing. It is called mal de débarquement syndrome, otherwise known as land sickness. And what happens is if you've been on a ship for a long time, for example, your vestibular system has trained itself to compensate for that, that slow rocking motion of the ship. So when you get back on dry land, it's still trying to make you go back and forth to compensate and for the motion that's no longer there. So it was really a bizarre feeling, especially if you closed your eyes. You felt like, wow, I'm falling, or I'm in an elevator or something. And they say it can last from a couple hours to a couple days or even longer. Some people have to get medical treatment for it. It took me about 4 days to shake it, and my wife a little bit longer than that. But I think we're okay now. Yeah. So, but we did London despite that. We did that day we did a cruise on the Thames from Westminster to Greenwich. Hiked up to the Royal Observatory. Greenwich, the home of the Prime Meridian. What do you think of that? So we were right there on the Prime Meridian.
So you could step back and forth?
You could step back and forth, yeah.
Prime,
Yeah.
no prime.
Prime,
no
not
prime.
prime. Prime, not prime. Yeah. Yeah, it was great. It was, I mean, that's to me,
That's
that's
pretty cool.
science history there, the Royal
Yeah.
Observatory. So much stuff has happened there.
Did they
And that's,
they go to trouble put a line on the ground or
they
something?
do, they do.
Of
Yeah, yeah,
course.
yeah. You can straddle it. Yeah. The Maritime Museum is there also. I think the observatory is part of the Maritime Museum. There's Greenwich University is there. A lot of kids milling about, students, that is. And of course, Cutty Sark is right there in the water. The famous ship Cutty Sark, which was, used to a sailing ship that, went at high speed to deliver goods from point A to point B. So they
And
have
they named a whiskey after
they they named the whiskey after her, I guess. Yeah, they did. Yeah, yeah. And then again, we saw a lot of the big sites, Big Ben. We saw the bridges, Leicester Square. We did a tour of Buckingham Palace. Not a bad little spot. Not a bad little spot. It was dazzling. It was just overwhelmingly big and ornate, and just the art collection. And they only show you part of it there. Is it's really a world class art collection. All these artists over time that have wanted to paint pictures for the royal family of whatever, of people, of landscapes, seascapes, whatever. So it's really amazing.
Well,
Uh,
Dave, I would also because of the heat. I remember being in London once, and the only thing I remember about being in London once that I remember that I was there once.
that's all you
That's
remember,
all.
that you were
That's
there.
all I can remember. I know I was there.
Do you remember approximately when?
About 1992.
Okay, you would not recognize it.
No,
You would not recognize it. The London architecture is just incredible. For a long, long time, there were no tall buildings, skyscrapers in London,
but
and
there
then
is
at some,
now.
but they have a bunch of them now. They're really unique buildings. We saw the Shard, which is a building that looks like a shard of
Glass, of
glass.
course, the
Okay, of
Shard.
course. Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
Well, you're
It
you're you're lucky, Dave, because you'll be able to carry this memory probably till the day you pass away. Now that memory I had is long gone. It's just there's no room in the top of my head because of the heat.
Well, I'm because of the heat. Well, I'm trying to give you. I mean, some of these other buildings. There's one they call the cheese grater.
And I believe you.
There's the walkie-talkie. It looks like a set of walkie-talkies. The gherkin, which is like, it's a big pickle. It's
Of
like a big
course,
pickle.
of course.
The reason this happened is they have fewer design regulations over there compared to, say, New York City, where everything's got to kind of be within strict guidelines. So you have a lot more leeway over there, and they also do kind of environmentally friendly designs and that sort of thing. So there's a lot of things that you don't really see that go into these. So it was really, really, really fascinating. In addition to the old sites, like Big Ben and Westminster Abbey and blah blah blah, all that stuff. You got all these modern skyscrapers
Did you see
blasted.
that Ferris wheel?
Yes, the eye.
You
Yes.
can see that.
Oh, it's right there. It's right
Uh,
across, basically almost across, directly across from Big Ben.
I always enjoy when you send me photos and stuff like that. Some of those things, but clearly you were you were impressed by the way that place was built and how it
Oh,
works.
really,
Yeah,
really, really. I had been there a couple times, but at most maybe, for maybe 3 days. But most of those 3 days were in meetings. So, I mean,
mm,
I'd gotten to see some of the city before, but not like I did. We were there for 6 nights, so we got a lot of stuff in.
mm.
We went to the Borough Market, which is this huge outdoor food stand set up. Like the world's nicest food stands with every kind of food you can imagine. Dishes from all different countries, as well as a lot of fresh fruits, vegetables, meats. If you want it, it's there. Okay, and it's really, I got to eat some gluten-free pierogies there. So what do you think of that? My second time I had gluten-free pierogies on the
Finally,
trip,
yeah.
which would be the second time in my life that I've had gluten-free pierogies, I guess.
See, I would find that very interesting because you'd almost want to have just a little bite of this, a little bite of that, because just too many temptations.
We did a lot of little bites too, yeah.
Yeah.
But boy, oh boy, oh boy, yeah, it was fun. And again, these were all things that Harriet had recommended to us. I don't know if I would have gotten to the borough market on my own. If it would have been high enough
List of things to do, you
on
mean?
my list of things. Yeah, but it was terrific. And another thing that she mentioned, she said, you can get last minute tickets to London shows at a really good price. And I hadn't thought about that. I thought I'm going to see museums and that sort of thing. But we got to see two shows
Wow.
with these last minute tickets. The one was called Girl from the North Country. This was at the Old Vic. Okay, yeah, yeah, we're at the Old Vic now, just hanging out. Yeah, and it's what they call a jukebox musical. The show is built around Bob Dylan songs
Really?
rather than being a new score that was written for the, yeah. So it takes place in the 30s, during the Depression in Duluth, Minnesota, and it's the comings and goings of several people in this boarding house in Duluth, and so it was a good show. It was an interesting show, and you got to hear some Bob Dylan stuff. And the other show we saw, which was just dazzlingly good, was Stereophonic. And we saw this at the Duke of York's Theater. Okay. He later became King George V or something like that. So that this was his theater. Boy, really, I would recommend this, especially to people and kind of in our age group. Although I think, there were a lot of young people there that were really enjoying it. This Stereophonic got 13 Tony nominations, which was the most ever. They
It
got
played also in America?
Well, it was in Broadway. Yeah, it
Oh,
was played. It was played in New York City, and then when it closed in New York City, they moved. They opened it in London, and I'm sure some other places now as well. Three of the New York cast members are in the London production. One or two of them are the ones that got the Tony Awards. They got five Tonys. Um,
wow.
so what's it about? It's about the trials and tribulations of this 70s rock band. Okay, they got one album out and it's starting to catch fire, and they're in the studio in L.A. Recording their second album, and it takes them a year to do the second album in the studio in L.A. But it's really the trials and tribulations of the people. It's not a musical, okay? It is not a musical, although they do some singing and they do some music stuff, and it's really good. But you see that it's only from the where it needs to be. It's really about all the stuff going on behind the scenes. There's two couples and
Arguing about this or talking about that, trying to do this,
yeah,
figure that
and
out.
breaking up, and
Oh,
yeah, and people doing good things or bad things,
now,
and yet they get in front of the microphone and they make this spectacular music.
did you happen to pick that by availability and chance, or you specifically sought that one out of several options?
Well, you get on the website, and there's 60 or 80 plays that you can go to, and and once I saw Stereophonic, I knew about
Oh, okay.
Stereophonic.
Okay. So
I
you
just
knew
didn't
about
think I'd ever get to see it,
it. Okay. Okay.
and so it's basically the Fleetwood Mac story. Okay.
Okay. So
But it was really, really, really well done. It's just
uh,
terrific.
I only mentioned that in that you were able to see something that you understood or were aware of, and you was able to choose it and actually see it,
Yeah,
as opposed to
yeah,
saying, well, this is the only one that has a free seat. We'll go to this one, and then, it could be
right.
something else. So anyhow,
Yeah,
that sounds pretty cool. Sounds like you had a great time in London.
yeah, we did, and the high point of the whole thing was visiting some old friends from London. We've got some friends that live out in the Chiswick area, which is west of London. It's 10 stops west on the district line from Victoria Station. So we were pros at this time. So we got out there, and so we got to get together with Michael, who is the retired Secretary General of the International of the ITAA, the International Tungsten Trade Association. Okay, I was on the board of that for a lot of years. I was president of it for 2 years, and also we got Rose was with us also. Rose still runs the office. She runs the office operations at ITIA. Just again, a lot of great conversation, catching up, memories, good stuff, bad stuff, tears and laughter kind of stuff. And Rose made us a fantastic Chinese meal. It was duck, pork, and skate. Did you ever have skate?
I've never eaten skate. No.
It was wonderful. It was the best meal of the trip.
Wow.
Of course, there were salads and bok choys and all else. So, wishing the best to Rose and Michael here. It was just great getting to see them again.
Wow. What a great, now that's a trip worth doing again, isn't it? You could go over there for 2 weeks.
I would go back. I would go back and do some more, see some more things, and
reasonably short distance too from here to there, isn't it? Like 6 hours or something?
Yeah, going in that direction. Yeah,
London, here I come.
Oh, you come, yeah. Hey, we knew we'd arrived. We were cool. A British couple came up to us on the street and asked for directions to the nearest tube station. And you know what? I knew how to do it. I knew where to send them. It's like, yeah, we're good now. We're veterans. So that was it. It took us 27 hours to get home from, the time we left the hotel till the time we stepped in our door back in sunny Florida.
Your ability to tell somebody else how to get on the tube or understand the metro system, it clearly means when the heat gets to your head and you don't know how to do that anymore. You'll say, I used to be able to figure out how to do this. Why can't I do it? So it's the heat, buddy. It's the heat.
It's the heat. That's why we're in the hills of North Carolina. Yeah. We've got a little bit of rain every day. Well, sometimes it's more than a little bit, but it's the weather's been in the 60s.
That's wonderful. And
it's wonderful.
That's
it's
your
like
weather.
That's your weather.
Yeah, that's your
Baltics weather again. Yeah. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it, man.
Well, you had a good time, and I'm glad you made it back safe and sound, and enjoy yourself up there. How's the mosquitoes? No mosquitoes?
No mosquitoes here. I've at least none have found me yet.
Then you're good to go. Perfect weather. Yeah. So we're going to hook up. I understand we have a special guest coming up in the future, so we're going to hook up pretty soon, aren't we? With this gentleman?
We're going to our next episode, if all goes according to plan, is Dr. Craig Benjamin, the historian, the fellow that I mentioned was on the ship, and he has graciously agreed to let us interview him on our podcast. So that'll be the one after this, if all goes well.
Well, I look forward to that because you're meeting him and describing what he does was absolutely fascinating. And of course, I always have the question, how did you manage to get to that point? What fork in the road did you take that let you do that? Something like that.
That's exactly the kind of stuff that we want to ask him. Yeah, he's
sounds like a great personality. Like a fun guy.
Yeah. Oh, he was just a terrific guy. I think you'll like him. I think all our listeners are really going to enjoy that episode when we get there.
So we'll tell everybody to stand by for that. In the meantime, I'm going to stay out of the heat. Okay. As best as possible.
I am going to stay out of the heat as well. It'll be easier for me than you, I guess.
I have to wear a hat to stay out of it. You can just go outside and stay out of it. So
yeah.
Well, is this about it for this podcast?
I think that's about it. This is Old Buck Dave saying take care. Good talking to you. Good
to see you too. To Old Buck Dave, wishing everybody stay well out there, and hope the heat don't affect you like it's me doing me. So we'll talk to you next time.
Bye-bye.